Check your internet connection. What the fuck?
It
Seriously?
says it's live. I think we're live, dude. I You may not be. Maybe I am.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I guess
Hey.
we're live.
Yeah, good to have you back,
We're
buddy.
back, Joe.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
good
that
to have.
first. Like you were frozen, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
No, I switched over. I switched Wi-Fi's. I was on the shitty Wi-Fi because I was printing something earlier. Um, so what's happening, man? What you been doing,
enjoyed the holiday weekend. That's for sure.
dude? I need a
Um,
fucking haircut.
yeah, I mean, it's that time. It's funny. I was joking with somebody. I think it was yesterday, and it was overcast and rainy, and you looked out the window, and it felt like you were in London or something like that. And it was, and then you like, because the AC's just chugging along, it's
Yeah.
like 74 or something like that, and you're like, and you walk out the door, and it's like heat sauna basically. And you're like,
Wow.
damn, summer is here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But,
So my buddies at Superfluid sent me some merch. Got me a nice kind of crazy shirt from them, which is
cool.
cool. Yeah, I love
like
those guys.
that. Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah, got me some merch, got me some swag, whatever you want to call it. So that was fun. Got a little present because the only thing I get in packages is
Really
shit for the house, or something for the kids that they wanted me to order or some shit like that. So
Nothing
it's so
for
nice
bread.
when I get something that's like, fun.
Yeah, I think what is the last 3 deliveries I had? One was toothpaste, mouthwash, and an ACT prep
Yeah,
book.
I get pill things for my dog's pills. I get new doorknob that I need to put on this weekend. That kind of shit.
honeydew
So,
stuff.
Yeah. That's the packages I get. Whereas my kids and my wife, they're getting clothes and shit they wanted and toys and whatever.
They're getting the fruits of your labor falling off the Brad money tree.
That's right. No, it was nice that the Superfluid boys sent me a shirt. It was cool.
Good to feel appreciated. I know I pretty much give you a hard time all the time, so I'm glad that you feel appreciated.
Somebody loves me out there.
Yeah.
So Joe, are we having a little dead cat here?
Dude, I don't even know. I looked at
because we're bouncing nicely here, 32,215.
Yeah, I saw the discussion when it was about 31 something, and I just don't see an event that makes me think this is the big turn. I think it's more in line with the sort of summer behavior we discussed last week or the week before that kind of like drop down into like October, November timeframe of that low that everybody's forecasting. I think it might be that what we're seeing now, but I mean, it's sort of
got a lot of breaking through to get to anything,
yeah,
but it's still it's always nice to see.
New money has to come to the show at this point.
Yep.
And I don't see a lot of excess cash out there. I mean, institutional cash, yes. Retail cash, I don't know. I mean, I guess people that already own houses and things like that, it's not a big issue to them. I'm thinking about all the sort of stimmy check people and others that were working it out of like, hey, this could generate money. I don't see that type of volume coming yet.
So 12.2 up 12.29% since Saturday. So that's a good thing.
Hell yeah. I mean,
that's a good thing. I
know,
like that.
We were talking earlier how, when that one, I don't care what it was called, but the one that had the tiles, the heat maps for each crypto, and you would go look at it and the tile was the size of their market cap. And remember this from 2018 and you'd look and it'd be like all red and you're just like, psychologically, you're like beat up right out of the gates, you're like, don't even want to run. If you see all green, you're like, yeah, let's go, And so to me, I bring this up because I saw some media on, somebody talking about, how they, first targeted the alt-right for Wikipedia or something. And now they're targeting crypto. And I'm like, how is that even in the same sentence? one, how do you segue from hard or alt-right to crypto, and then kind of guilt by association there? It didn't make a lot of sense. And then all this negative stuff. And I, started thinking, who really thinks that all this stuff is going up? I think people are getting hustled, but it's not like everybody doesn't know that it's risky.
Right.
And so I saw all this FUD there, and then something about BTC being off 40% or something from some recent high or mark. And I'm like, damn, that was like the quietest 40% I've ever seen. Because I didn't really, I mean, like we talked about earlier, I'm used to that being like 40% at one time.
Right.
One drop that just fucks everybody.
No, it's been the slow grind that sucks you in. But you're right. It's been pretty quiet. I mean, look, we had the whole UST fucking mess and everything else. But, overall, it's just been kind of like, now, certainly liquidity is, volume is dried up. But all in all, it's pretty good.
Think about where we were already kind of teetering. And then the UST debacle comes.
Yeah.
I mean, and then everything's still standing up.
Yep.
I mean, to me, that's a miracle on its own. Oh, there's that.
These are our buddies over at DeFi Heatmap. Quantify Crypto is it's a father and son team that build this, and they create some really great tools. So this is their kind of centralized exchange trading tools, but they have all these built-in indicators and technical analysis tools. I really they just keep grinding away. They're not like a tool that everyone in the space uses yet, but they have really created some powerful tools that can be really helpful. So if you're doing centralized exchanges or you just want to check the overall health, you can do that. Here's their heat map based on centralized. Well, it said heat map.
What was the one called that we used to look at?
Look at all the green. So this is Quantify Crypto. So look at all that green. And I love seeing Tron down while everything else is green. That's awesome. But it's they make some really awesome tools. They have a screener tool that'll tell you, based on their indicators, whether a token is bullish or not. So right now they're showing Bitcoin is slightly bullish, Ethereum is slightly bullish, Solana is neutral, because look, they had another freaking fuck up last week. Tron neutral, very bullish. Leo token. I keep seeing Leo token. I don't know what the fuck that is, but
I seem to remember that from way back when, around something over on Phantom, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then they have, a whole set of tools for DeFi as well. And it'll track your wallet, show you what you have. It'll show transactions in your wallet. It's really a nice set of tools. I wish these guys got more attention. So happy to give them a little attention because they build some really nice tools.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's very nice of you.
Eamon says, "Yay, green."
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So I guess what I'm getting at is that I haven't seen. I'm not like into the real super negative perspective at this point.
Yeah, me neither.
But I read all the media and it's like just all friggin' doom and gloom again. And I don't mean, when you see these like sort of articles written in, Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Times, places like that are about like 2 months, 3 months late, to be honest, because they do so much fact checking and stuff like that, or at least try to, that it's always old news by the time it gets out. And so you read it and it's kind of like this requiem and you're sort of like, where are these people at?
Yeah.
And I guess those are the people that were in Doge and, all the other shit out there that weren't looking for things to invest in, but we're looking at it more as like a FanDuel's DraftKings kind of thing, where it's a gambling play versus trying to make educated guesses on data related to data as to if the entities will attract capital or buyers or users in their ecosystem. That's the only way you can beat this game,
right?
Or eke out a winning. Just like you would in the stock market. I mean, all the tools are there now for equities, but in the past, you didn't have it.
Yep.
You had to go figure it out. And this is what's going on in this space. So to me, I maybe short-lived. I'm not trading any. I did buy some stuff, but I'm not trading anything right now. I think maybe there's a little bit of a rise, but I still think we got to see how the economy shakes out over the summer. And I'm talking broadly U.S. Economy, as well as how the Russia-Ukraine stuff sorts out, as to, does it just stall out and settle out, or does it go hot, or what happens at that point? I think all those things have an effect.
Yep.
We've talked about a lot about food supply, over the weekend. I saw a lot on that in particular, and how just that one little conflict affects the food supply in, I want to say, like Namibia or Somalia or someplace.
They're talking about mass starvation coming because of the loss of the wheat crops in Ukraine and Russia and the inability to get those out. And they are saying that in parts of the world, there's going to be a massive shortage of food for people, which is horrible. But
yeah, so all of those big kind of macro disruptors. And then I think today or yesterday, the EU, I think, banned the Russian oil with a couple of exceptions for, I think, Hungary and somebody else. But, and that's a massive disruption.
Sure.
It has to be, supply chains have to be shifted and, all of that. So, there are big things still coming. And then, of course, you've got a U.S. midterm election cycle getting ready to go full bore. So.
What's your predictions, Joe? What are you going to tell us for everything? Where are we going? Where's the economy going? Where's Bitcoin going? I mean, come on. We all need your prognostication, dude. We're counting on it. None of us want to do our own research. We all need you.
Yeah, but look, again, it's just an opinion. So again, hope everybody gets a lot of opinions. Mine is just one of many. I'm pretty surprised at how it's held together over the last 3 or 4 months, particularly with the sort of a war going on too. And, there's a lot of things going on in the geopolitical landscape at this point that have the chance to change an awful lot. So it kind of surprises me that it hasn't, they haven't really hit hard.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is, election cycle. Nobody wants to look like they're political if you're, say at the Fed or, any of the groups that are, not political. So
I think Powell was meeting with Biden today.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think our president's looking for a little economic juice.
There's nothing there's nothing that the Fed could do to juice anything right now. The only thing they could possibly do is not reduce the balance sheet as fast, or telegraph slower rate hikes till after, maybe one until the election. I think that you're probably going to have fewer rate hikes myself until the election, and then maybe more Fed balance sheet reduction because it's not as visible.
Right.
And it does the same thing. It pulls liquidity out of the banking system. So, the question is always how much of that could be absorbed before it really starts, affecting, I guess, growth. And we don't know that yet. So right. I don't know. I feel pretty good about all of that. Whether we're getting ready to go off on a meteoric shot, I don't see that.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah, I look, man. On top of where we were already pre-pandemic, as far as macroeconomic budgets, all of that, deficits, and then how much stimulus was thrown out there? I want to say 6 to 8 trillion, something like that. I think we had 8 in the show a couple of weeks ago. We came up with 8. And that hasn't even all been spent yet. I think there's still about 2 trillion waiting to cycle in via the infrastructure and some other stuff. So, I don't see anything slowing us down.
Right.
Still, because the other thing you have to remember is that, there was this other thing, and, I was thinking about it when I was looking at our project this morning, but I was thinking about that 9-point-something% I bond, a U.S. government treasury will get like 9-point-something%. And now all of a sudden you're basically in, a savings situation at 9%, which is, pretty decent.
relative to what it's been in the past.
Yeah. So think about the other countries and think about anybody that's getting skittish that's not already all in on dollars pretty much like we are. You want to get in dollars. And so if you can go park money and get 9% in dollars, I mean, that's pretty attractive to me.
Yep.
If you go into the guys that, okay, total global economic collapse, I mean, who does the dollar go down before? I don't see it.
Right.
I see the dollar's the last one standing no matter what happens. I mean, just go ask the Russian treasury officials about that one. Sorry. There's plenty of examples in history of this too. I mean,
Niblets made the point that Arab Spring was triggered by bread prices. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that.
Well, in a lot of those economies, there's, I mean, they don't have access to as much food as you do in, say, this economy or European economies. It's just not everywhere. And the infrastructure to support that type of massive food supply doesn't exist. So a lot of it is perishable. So bread, grains, things like that, if that's your mainstay, pita bread or wherever you are, if that's your mainstay food and all of a sudden it's not there, it's too much money, you go rioting in the streets.
Yep. So before the show, you and I were talking a little bit about Molly White, and Molly and I have had some exchanges on Twitter about her anti-crypto crusade. But, just this whole kind of the crazy fear that the anti-cryptonites have about crypto, to me, is just astounding, especially people like, she's a software engineer. What's that bozo's name that spends his entire day ranting about crypto? That'll come to me later.
Brad, what's his last name? Brad Nickel?
I mean, ranting against crypto. Anyway,
sorry.
You and I were talking, about how nuts these people are. Like, it's one thing to say you don't like something. It's another thing to be so gripped by whatever fear you have of losing control over people that you become a crusader about it. Like making the Washington Post, because you're anyway. And she's the one that led the thing to not allow Wikipedia to take crypto anymore. And it's just like, oh my God, these bonkers ass people. It's just astounding to me how nuts and obsessed people get with disliking something. And, they try to claim, it's going to have an impact on the world. It's going to harm everyone, blah, blah, blah. It's all such bullshit. And it's just amazing to me. And I actually invited her to come on Mission DeFi to be interviewed and have an open discussion about the topic. Like, let's talk about what her fears are and let's have a rational conversation. But you know what? She's never, ever going to go on a show that has an opposite opinion to hers, because she knows it can't stand up to scrutiny. She knows her incompetent arguments are not going to stand up to scrutiny. She knows that she can trigger people on the web with fears of environmental collapse from Bitcoin and lying and altering the conversation to be about what she thinks it will be. And she never wants to have that question, because she knows as soon as she does, people are going to be like, wait a minute, do you even know what the fuck you're talking about? So anyway, the problem I have is that software engineers that are crusaders get more credence in the mainstream media. They get more credence by the Washington Post and by the New York Times, because they're like, well, if they're a software engineer, they must know what they're talking about. No, I have news for you, Washington Post, New York Times. They have zero clue what you're talking about. And here's the problem. You're not holding them to the fire. You're not making them prove what they're saying, because the people interviewing them don't understand this shit. Right. So anyway.
Yeah. Always a problem. It's if this person is just out cataloging every crypto project and what happened, this and that, I think that's kind of cool.
Actually, I praised her once on our show and on Twitter. I said, I love her website, that talks about all of the exploits and hacks and everything else, because I think that's good for us. I think it's good for us to see that shit. So I love that she documents it and makes it easier for us to keep track of. That's awesome.
Well, it's easier for the other ones then to kind of asterisk wallets or, anyone where there's suspect activity, and can just help in cleaning up the space. The judgmental side, though, if I can't remember if that's the article I read or not, but I don't remember it. It's like the Crusader stuff. It's just like, I don't know. I guess if it was back when they were pushing all the railroad stocks on Wall Street, turn of the 19th to 20th century, and there was probably like 10,000 railroad companies went public, but what, like 20 made it, so there was another 9,980 or so that were, I guess, hustles and scams and cons and all of that. I'm sure there was plenty of that, don't get me wrong, but I think the thing with entrepreneurship in particular, when a new market opens up and everybody with an idea comes flooding in with or without capital, if you don't have it, you go to find it, doing everything to try to succeed and get rich.
Yep.
This is a byproduct of that. It always is. It always has been. It always will be, because you don't have super solid models to evaluate the opportunities that you do in, say, the risk-free space. But you also get what you sign up for, in the risk-free space.
Here was a great, so I retweeted this the other night because she, of course, Molly tweeted her Washington Post article. And Julie Bush wrote, "These people are basically," about Molly White, "these people are basically like 1800s East Coast newspapermen writing editorials about how the railroad is too dangerous and a scam because they've heard about all the ways brothel ladies can cheat you at cards in the gambling dens of the Wild West frontier."
That's great. That is great? Perfect. That's perfect.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly right. So it's hilarious. And then I saw Molly White responded to it, but blurred out this woman's handle and photo because she didn't want to actually face the music, and she did a screenshot. She didn't actually respond to it in a tweet because she knows she can't stand up to scrutiny. None of these people that are anti-crypto can stand up to the scrutiny, and they don't want their followers to see them being made a fool of. So they're always going to avoid any interaction that's intelligent.
Well, also, I think that, it's pretty easy to, look, I think that was the article. What she essentially is saying is that the whole space is a failure, basically.
Yeah.
And it's all a big hustle and a scam and a con and all of that. And, and everybody knows it's not that.
Exactly.
But it's also not like this, pious, puritanical, everything's perfect and everybody makes 60% returns on every single investment you do.
Of course not.
Which is what you get penalized for not being that, which is absurd.
Right. And you won't find anybody in this space that says that happens, right? Everyone is a fucking realist. Nobody says, "Oh my God, it's nirvana." Of course it's not. We're building an entire financial system from scratch. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, when people in channels, too, and when people are gaming it, because there's a hole in the tech or the algorithm, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they took advantage of it." You're like, isn't that natural selection? Isn't that the way it works?
Exactly.
Reminds me of this quick story in DC. This guy had just moved there back when I lived there. And so he's hanging out in Adams Morgan at that gas station at the top of the hill. He's got a convertible Beamer. He sits there for the gas, leaves the car running, and, keys in ignition, of course, goes in to pay for his gas, comes back out, his car's gone. He's like, "What the hell? I left my keys in the car running, and I come out and it's gone," and everybody just laughs at him.
Exactly. That's a great analogy.
So it's that type of thing. It's like when people openly talk about, "Hey, we got to front run the Ponzi scheme."
Yeah.
You kind of know, well, you better keep your eyes on that one. But it doesn't mean the returns aren't real. The returns are real.
Yep.
It's just that you got to get in and out before everybody else gets out.
Niblet says, "All the anti-crypto folks I have read seem to be as crazy as the BTC maxis, mirror images." Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Eamon said, "Yes, a score a 9% in dollars from an inflation protection bond. Looks good, but really it's a break even. That's a good point. It is a break even on inflation. And we got a new listener over on Twitch, which we never have any listeners on. Hey, Diggs, welcome, man. Thanks for joining us. Or woman. Shouldn't assume you're a man or non-binary.
Well, the odds are right. You know,
I forget all the terms. My children correct me all the time on the terms. I don't know the terms.
I just think it's easier to not talk half the time.
I never know if I'm supposed to say, I'm so bad. I never know if I'm supposed to say you're, they. Anyway, let's move on. So I had an interview with a reporter from a publication called The Information yesterday, which is a tech pub. I don't want to insult them, but I had never heard of them. But evidently, I have a shit ton of readers of this website. And it was about, let me find the piece. It was about I actually have a connection to these folks. This project called Yield Guild, and the founder of that project, Gabby. I couldn't remember his name. Gabby Dizon. Yield Guild is a guild that started to buy NFTs on behalf of people that want to play NFT-based games like Axie Infinity. So they'll buy the NFTs that are expensive for you. Same with like Steppen, where the shoes are like $3,000 or whatever. And then you give up like 10% of your revenue that you earn playing the play to earn game back to the Yield Guild, right? And they train, they provide training, they provide all kinds of stuff to help people get up and get started that couldn't get started. Primarily, the founder, Gabby, is from the Philippines. And so it's primarily, they were funding a lot of people in the Philippines so that they could earn a living from playing Axie Infinity. Now, that certainly has had some issues, but the bottom line is Gabby invested his own money and Yield Guild invested their own money in a project called Merit Circle. Merit Circle is also doing something similar to what Yield Guild is doing, right? So some bonehead, and I'm being polite. That's bonehead is my polite term.
Wow.
Some dumbass in the Merit Circle, they invested a total of $175,000. Some dumbass in the Merit Circle community put up a snapshot proposal to get Yield Guild and Gabby's investments out of Merit Circle because they didn't feel like they were doing enough for the project, right? Like they weren't like hands-on doing shit. Well, so they put up this proposal. Yield Guild responded and Gabby responded saying, well, actually, first of all, our SAFT agreement, legal SAFT agreement with the project doesn't ask us to do anything else. All it does is ask us to provide money. But in fact, we have done A, B, C, D, E, F, G, provided introductions, helped them. And this is a competitor, essentially, to Yield Guild, right? So Yield Guild and Gabby go out and help a competitor get up and going in this industry because they feel like there needs to be more people in the industry. And then these assholes in their community come out and say, fuck them. Let's give them their money back and kick them out, right? Now, a few level-headed people in the community said, can we really do that since we signed a SAFT agreement and we took their money?
And they got kicked out.
Can we actually do that? Like, no, you can't do that. There's a legal agreement. You can send all the money back you want, but you still have to pay out when the end game is played. So you're a bunch of fucking dipshits. Yeah. So here's the bottom line. Who's going to trust Merit Circle DAO ever again? Nobody will, because they know that they have this bunch of loose cannons in their community. Why would anyone trust them from investing? Why would anybody trust them for integrations, for deals, for partnerships? I wouldn't do any fucking business with Merit Circle because who wants to deal with a community that's too stupid to know what a legal agreement is, right? And so anyway, that's why I was interviewed, because I tweeted this moronic and said how I felt about it. Are you surprised I said how I felt about it, Joe?
No, I was surprised that you held back a little bit, Joe. I thought, I was getting ready to get in a quick power nap here. I thought we were on a 10-minute rant. But,
hey, Eamon gave me a transition. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So got to form a guild to collaborate on tapping yields from Sexton. So I have this loaded up, Eamon.
Is this
Eamon pointed this to me. It's sex to earn, Joe.
Yeah, I saw that in the Discord.
You can even get paid to masturbate.
Wow. Wow. Now we're set, man.
So now all those afternoons of yours are going to be spent making some money.
Hell yeah. We're going to have to order up some Viagra too, man. No, but it's another thing to add to the mix. If you get paid to walk around.
Exactly.
And you get paid to, like, I guess, sort of go shopping and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do we get
And they
paid
have
to
different,
drive around?
I don't think so, but they have, well, you can pay to be an Uber driver.
That's true.
You know, but they supposedly trace whether you're having sex or not based on your, you know, your heart rate and all this other shit. But it's just hilarious, dude. I'm wondering how many people are going to buy in on this.
To feed the Fitbits and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But they have all these different like levels. I looked through their documentation because I was like, let me see how serious this is. They wrote like full blown documentation for this thing, like not messing around, you know. But yeah, Eamon, let's form a guild. I think that's would be called the Pimp Guild. But you know, not sure, because I think at that point we'd just be pimping people out to have sex and earn money, which does sound a bit like.
Oh, we were not doing it ourselves?
Well, we can, but we can also, if we had a guild, we could pay people's entry fee into the guild and then take a cut of the money they earn from having sex.
All right, remember the Seinfeld episode where they're trying, I think, not to masturbate?
Yeah.
That could be the wager we have here. You could have like everybody ponies up $100 or whatever, and whoever's left at the end gets it.
There you go. That's
one thing. Also, you know, it would be interesting to have a contest going the other way. You know, like, I guess whatever the appropriate activity with this device is, which I think is probably just about anything, because I saw a Pornhub reference in the
Let me
Discord.
find that. I think it was here.
That, you know, maybe everybody in this chat group or whatever we're in,
yeah, could join in, pool our funds,
and we see who wins, but in a good way. You know,
so you got
who's getting some.
You've got coitus mode, masturbation mode, and you know I didn't.
That was one of our listeners. Sorry.
And I didn't put this one on Facebook because I don't need my mother-in-law and mom calling me today. Masturbation mode, but this one's interesting. Sadism and masochism mode.
Yeah.
That one's listening for the crack of the whip. So you get paid by the number of whip cracks, I think. I'm joking. I'm making that up. I have no idea. And I'm sure someone is very sincerely trying to get more people to have sex. Now, super mode. Well, I don't know what super mode is. Oh, I think you can buy more tokens and up your financial returns from it. So anyway, cracks me up. I think Eamon's the one that pointed this out to me. Yeah, he did in the Discord. That's right. In the Discord. So thank you, Eamon, for participating and contributing to the betterment of the DeFi ecosystem with this.
Is that the token, Sexin?
The token, there is the sex orgasm token, which is the SOT token. And then there's the sexual stamina token, which is the SST token. So the good news is they didn't call it the sexual domination token because that would have been the SDT token. And that probably wouldn't go well.
STD token.
Yeah. STD. I'm sorry, demand it backwards.
Yeah.
Sexual token dominance. STD token. There you go.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have gone well.
No, especially not with the kids.
Like get paid to spread sexually transmitted diseases. Yes. Yeah. No, probably
That's
not.
Interesting. I wonder if there is any liability for that.
It's the terrorist token. It's to, anyway. So Sexin, good stuff today. It's funny.
Too bad that it should partner up with just one of the other fitness ones. Be easy.
Yeah. Hey, this was last week, but looks like Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey, has been diving pretty deep in crypto. Not Sexin, just crypto.
I was second. Okay.
He says that one of the most compelling use cases of Web3 is to disintermediate financial institutions taking a cut of transactions, from check cashing to remittances and swipe fees. It's a trend in motion. 27% of Americans involved in crypto don't have a credit card, and there's 16% don't have a bank account. I just saw new stats today. And this is an awesome argument to the Molly Whites of the world. It's like, you think you're this awesome crusader. What you're really doing is fucking poor people who are paying stupid fees to Western Union and others when They don't have to do that. So I'm really glad to see a United States Senator and a Democrat out spreading the good vibes. So
hell yeah.
yeah.
I wonder. So like, this Molly Crusader, I mean, I get it. We've talked about this a little bit in the past too. That she's in her mind is protecting, grandma that used to get hustled over the phone, while sitting in the Craftmatic or whatever and watching. Pick it, Jokers, Wilds, Wheel of Fortune, anything that afternoon slot after
Jeopardy.
the stories end. Yeah, after the stories ended at 4, then they roll into game shows till, news, weather, bedtime at 8 or something like that. But I guess that, she's trying to protect those people, and and I get that, but it's too much proselytizing around it. It's too much, trying to label everything as one thing or another. And and you look at what Senator Booker's his perspective on it, it's clearly different.
Yep.
So, again, I think that.
And he was mayor of Newark. I mean, he lives in Newark. Like he lives in where he grew up, in the neighborhood where he grew up, like not a wealthy neighborhood. And this is a man that, kind of lives what he does. And he knows and sees what pawn shops and check cashing and Western Unions do to people. And he gets it. So good to see. Good to see. Good to see. Evidently, while nobody was paying attention.
Oh, another
exploit. Last year, there was a $90 million exploit on the Terra blockchain. And nobody.
It was only 90? Yeah.
Nobody was paying attention. So, I also saw some news that, in fact, the South Korean authorities have started calling in employees of the Terra Foundation. So looks like the heat's climbing on Mr. Doe, because they are actually beginning investigations, and the team is actually telling the cops that he knew what the problems were from the very beginning. Like he knew exactly what could happen and was likely to happen. So anyway, that's getting interesting. So maybe we'll get to see a, what do they call it? A frog walk? Is that when they put them in cuffs and have the chain on their feet? Frog walk.
That would be fun. It's kind of interesting because the Koreans are pretty tough.
Yeah.
And particularly in, it's not like they have little country club prisons and stuff.
No.
It's like it's not a good thing. And I could see him getting in some serious hot water from this big time.
I'm surprised he stayed there. Maybe he's already moved. Maybe he's in Singapore or somewhere else. Maybe someplace without extradition treaties. I don't know. But the investigation is happening, so we'll see.
Yeah.
So, this is another one of those lawsuits. This one's actually, this is against a protocol. I think it was BZX. Yeah, BZX DAO. And it actually, this one looks legit. Like this one looks like one that, founders should be thinking about. And there was this really great thread. I'll put it in the show notes from the former general counsel for USDC and Coinbase. And she did this whole thread about how you form DAOs, right? And you and I and Chuck, we're all talking about this yesterday, that if you're forming a DAO, you're going to have to be careful about whether it becomes whether you're exposing the initial founders to kind of general liability if you don't have an entity formed around it that protects your liability, right? And so if you don't form an LLC at the beginning or whatever it may be in your country, then as you form that DAO that you think is this organic thing and it doesn't matter, there's no legal entity, you actually are opening yourself up to liability from a lawsuit. In this case, it's even more likely that the founders are screwed because it was a phishing scheme that got them $55 million theft. And it was because there was one founder that had control over the private keys for the wallet. And he got phishing scammed. They drained $55 million. And so now, 14 people that lost their money in that drain are suing the founders and the DAO and everybody involved. So it's it's important if you're going to form something that you really think about the structure and the legal entity you have around it, what kind of protections it gives you, what kind of legal ramifications it opens the door for you about.
Yeah.
So,
and have some lawyer money ready.
Yeah. Oh, Eamon said, didn't everyone know what could actually go wrong? I think on Terra, I thought it was common knowledge. It was just a race against the clock to gain users outside of Anchor to reduce the risk, laughing out loud. Yeah, totally agree, dude. I think everybody knew. Everybody knew.
I think a lot of people were in denial, though.
Yeah.
Usually what happens until it's over, then everybody's like, oh, damn, I knew that.
Yeah. So everybody freaked out. Somebody over the weekend or late last week manipulated the new proof of stake version of Ethereum and caused a 7-block reorg. Of course, it was on testnet. It would have been impossible to do on mainnet. It was nothing to be worried about, but Ethereum took a hit over the weekend because people are stupid and just don't actually take the time to do the research. So if you were worried about that, take a look, do some research. I'll have some links in the show notes. There was nothing to worry about. It would have required a gargantuan amount of Ethereum to have happened what happened on testnet. Now, the interesting thing was there was a theory about whether the person doing it is a miner trying to fuck with Ethereum by perpetuating it, or if it was somebody just messing with them, or if it was somebody who's worried about proof of stake and wanted to make a point and show them there were some risks. But it was, from the technical analyses I read, it wasn't something that could have been done on mainnet. Okay, what do we got? Oh, this is actually really good, and I'm going to post a link to it. But this is an awesome course that was created that basically tells you everything you need to know how to do blockchain development. Solidity, full stack Web3, smart contract course, JavaScript and TypeScript, and it's all free on Free Code Camp, which is a resources I've used in the past for when we had the coding camps. Really, this is awesome collection of know-how to, if you want to become a Solidity developer or blockchain development or front-end development, this is a great resource. So definitely everybody take a look at it if you get a chance. Joe, I think you're going to jump in there and learn some Solidity, right?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
This next.
So great thread that I'm going to also post in the links on how to go from a little bit of money in crypto to a lot of money in crypto. And it's some real practical hands-on ways like flipping NFTs pre-reveal, small cap plays, which we've talked about a lot, finding new tokens coming in that have a real good sustainable edge, that have big investors investing in it, that kind of thing. New chains that deploy. Joe, something I've been looking at a lot lately is staking on chains. Yeah. And getting a better understanding of that because our friends at I'm going to draw a blank on the project's name. Are you serious? Are you serious?
I know I am. Are you?
Give me a second.
Where are they geographically?
Say something important, Joe.
Singapore. Konnichiwa.
Can you do something better than that? Anchor, holy shit. Okay.
Anchor, yes.
Anchor offers staking on 5 different chains. But somebody told me the story of a guy that started off on Phantom with, it was like $3 to $5 grand. And at the very beginning of Phantom, and now has over $1 million worth from staking since the original launch of Phantom.
Wow.
And so I've been looking a lot at staking on all of these new proof of stake chains that launch, because even if the chain ultimately doesn't succeed, if they have big investors behind it, it's very likely to pay out some really nice rewards because they're trying to get a diverse set of stakers on the platform. They need as many stakers as possible to decentralize the protocol or the chain. So I've been looking at that quite a bit lately, and it's something we can talk about further.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I mean, look, if there's big reputable VCs putting money into new chains, then, they're smarter at that shit than I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I want to know what those chains are, and I want to get into those and just accept that it's probably a 5-year plan.
Yep, exactly.
So when we talk about, I'm always ranting and whatever about trading versus hodling. Well, this would be a situation where you would hodl these.
Yep.
And just forget about it.
And let the staking keep earning you more of the token for the network. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. And there will also be opportunities because they want to boost liquidity on the chain. there will be yield farming and staking opportunities outside of maintaining the chain that will pay high APRs and APYs at the beginning. But here's one of his other points: is manage your greed and resist the urge to hodl. Right?
Yeah.
I have learned that lesson hardcore this year. So I am dumping as I go. In small bits. I don't want to harm the protocols I'm on, but I am taking profit and selling things off in the pools I'm in. Stay liquid in the name to 10x. Anyway, he goes into details. He goes into how-tos. He's got all these sub threads in there that really give some great tips and ideas for things you can do. And these are like some slow build, like you were talking about, Joe, slow build, grow it, so you can turn it into a lot more money over time. Don't expect the big gain, the big scores in, a week for a while. We're probably not going to have those.
Niblet's looking for some names of these new chains, as am I.
So if you go to DeFi Llama, you can see a lot of the chains that are listed there that are kind of lowercase, and I think they're the ones that are going to be. That's where the new ones will get listed. But I'm actually working on a source for some other chains, because what I've discovered was that when they're launching a new chain, because they have to find people willing to stake, they go to a number of people I met at Permissionless that have staking networks with people with deep pockets that are interested in staking on chains. And so there are people at these projects that find out what chains are coming on and what chains are coming next. So I'm working on it.
Well, look, I'm probably speaking for everybody listening as well. If you could pull in some of that alpha for us and our listeners,
yes,
before those guys gals start doing whatever they're doing, then maybe we benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the beauty of it is we can come in even after the big guys come in terms of staking to keep the chain secure. That kind of staking, proof of stake staking, there's almost always an ongoing opportunity. It's only after the chain really soars in value that it gets really prohibitively expensive to do it. But at the beginning stages, you don't have to spend $50,000 to stake. But anyway, there's some pooling opportunities. I promise I will, as I get more of that info, I will let everyone know.
Yeah, Niblets and I appear to be having a mind melt here, because he's saying sounds like a good case for a DAO.
Yes,
and I started thinking the same thing: is we should figure out the names of these, and just like we talked about, thank God we didn't do it, but just like we were talking about the DAO one earlier in the year,
yes,
this would be the timing and the right one to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I'm gonna keep seeing if I can get one of these sources to start spilling the beans regularly, but we'll see.
Yeah, remember, you got to do whatever it takes. So if you got to work them, you might want to take one for the team for us.
Take the little Sexton token with me, app with me.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe.
So when those K-pop boys are saying, "Hey, Joe. Brad,
okay.
we got some alpha for you."
Yeah. Red flags when evaluating, another great thread by the Uniwhales DAO. Red flags when evaluating projects. No roadmaps, just vibes. No detailed customer segmentation. Outsourced dev team and consultants, definitely scary, but also you have to remember that some projects, because of the lack of talent in this space, it's the only way they can find it. Project focuses on adding an extra feature while copying other projects instead of building their own innovation. That's me. I'm very focused on people that are actually building new things, not just copying things. But here's an example where that's not an exception. I was just reading a thread from the founder of Trader Joe the other day. And Trader Joe was just a Sushi Swap copy paste, right? It was just a fork of Sushi Swap, but they have totally rewritten the entire infrastructure of that protocol. And they're now doing really innovative shit at Trader Joe in terms of the products they offer and everything else. So you could actually start off as a fork of an existing project with the same shit that they have, but you can innovate on that, build yourself a base of revenue and a team from that, and then build something brand new or innovative on top of it, or replace what you have. So there are opportunities. Poor tokenomics design, I'm just not the guy to critique that, and I suck at the tokenomics stuff, but definitely is something to think about. So,
well, it depends on what they mean when they say that, and it's a lot of times it's the one to me that always stands out is related to market cap. It's how many are in circulation.
Sure.
But the other ones that are more important is how many are the founders, how many are the partners, how many are there. understanding that. And I don't think that aspect has changed a lot. I think it's more on, my mind is how do you tackle that sort of, how do you get it to where you have scarcity going and a deflationary element?
And the points he's actually talking about, interestingly enough, on tokenomics is not what I thought. He says this includes under 2-year vesting for the team, big unlocks in the first 6 months by investors, launching a token before building a version 1 product, flavor of the week token mechanics, or launching a token in the first place, which might be unnecessary. And those are all valid. The other thing I liked, I'm really interested in tracking right now. And I asked Alex at Nansen if they could add this to the tool, is tracking projects where the investors are people that have dumped on retail rather than being in for the longer term. And they have that data at Nansen because they're tracking all these wallets. And I think that would be, like a warning sign or feedback. The team takes feedback as hostile or FUD. Wonder who that could be. Do Kwon. No regular updates on progress. Yeah, absolutely. Fluff updates with big things coming don't count. If you can't provide regular updates, people assume your project is dead. Founders that launch multiple tokens over a short period of time, you'll see they're already angel investing before even shipping their product. False starts and relaunches every few months. First impressions count. Don't rush to launch and make sure you can deliver. Website copy under white paper looks like mashed up copy paste mumbo jumbo. Yeah, that's a good warning sign. Trying to deploy on multiple chains instead of building the product itself, right? So they issue their token, they start putting it on multiple chains, and they still don't have a product. Community is toxic and purely focused on price. This is one of my big ones. This is why I got into Phantom pretty early on, was because I really loved that community and thought they were legit and working hard and everybody was into it. So anyway, great thread. That'll also be in the show notes. Joe, were you ever in Tesseract? I never did, but I remember them being kind of a big deal.
What's it called?
Tesseract.
No.
Anyway, so Tesseract was optimizing urn strategies. It was kind of, I guess it was kind of an automated. Anyway, this was really interesting to me, not because of who or what they were, but I do think they were a pretty big name for a while. They're shutting it down. And the interesting thing here is their approach to this is they're being very open and honest about it. They're essentially saying that we couldn't get enough talent. We weren't moving fast enough because we were trying to build something scalable and secure. And it really puts them in a position of not being able to play, that they're trying to play catch up now. And that's a really difficult dilemma right now for projects. Like, you want to build fast, you want to have the new features, you want to be, the talk of the town, but at the same time, you want to build from something that's going to last you for the long haul. And the other thing is, if you're not generating tons of shit revenue because you're fancy and doing new features, then it becomes very difficult to hire people. So it's a real catch-22 for projects. And somebody like Bancor, who spent 3 or 4 years building on top of what they had the funds in-house to quietly do that. But I will say, I totally applaud this team from saying, you know what, we're wasting people's time and effort. Let's shut this thing down. And they're doing the right thing. They're not trying to beat a dead horse. So to me, that's awesome. Unlike, Terra, which is trying to revive a dead horse, and instead the coin is tanking. So I'm glad to see this level of responsibility in the space.
Yeah, Joe? I think knowing when you need to fold your.
No, are you going to sing for us?
No.
No, when to hold them.
Yeah,
when to fold them.
You got to know
when to walk away.
Otherwise, it's a pretty depressing existence.
Know when to run.
If it ain't going anywhere.
That's right.
But also,
I think it's smart.
Investor considerations. I don't know. Did they ever do a token or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. I don't know. I don't know enough about
whatever.
The project.
But I'd rather just move on at that point. If you're not going to believe in it, just shut it down and move on to something else, or let somebody take whatever there is and keep going.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. It's good to not have the clutter. I mean, I was looking at that heat map again you just had up, and you look at everything in the top 10, and it's, you look at what's there, and it's, Cardano and Ripple and Doge, and not a lot of really beyond BNB and say Solana. What's below Doge? I can't see it because of the banner.
Dot
Polka
There's
dot.
Leo again. Sheba. AVAX is good. So let's do a count. Out of
Yeah.
the top, out of the ones in this,
Hold on, let me
this
kill the
top
banner.
list, we got BTC and ETH. So that's 2 out of 2. BNB 3 out of 3. XRP is garbage, but at least it has a purpose. Let's make it 3.5 out of 4. Garbage 3.5 out of 5. Pretty good, but having a lot of trouble lately, Solana. Let's make that 4.5 out of. Let's make 4.5 out of 6. I'll give them a whole. Doge may have some use later on, but right now not so much. 4.5 out of 7. Dot, yes. 5.5 out of 8. Tron,
whatever.
Has a big Asian mortgage. Yeah.
Shib, no. Leo, don't know. Don't care.
LTC's doing some really cool, innovative shit.
What have you heard, man? What have you heard?
So I saw the other day they're doing this. What was it? Somebody was busting somebody's chops by showing how. Oh, I know. By showing how LTC was doing all this cool encryption shit for privacy transactions and some other stuff that they added to it. So, and these guys at Litecoin, they just keep building, dude. They don't stop, and they're still, up there in the top.
Looking at that more.
Yeah. CRO, Cronus, good. I think they've got some life potentially.
Some issues like last week or something like that. Wasn't there some big Cronus issue where they changed I think they changed the reward levels or the coupons on like deposits. So a lot of people were cashing out.
I don't know.
Matic, yeah, we're all over that.
FTT, what the hell's FTT? I don't remember.
Shit, man, I don't know either.
Near, good. BCH, garbage. Shit.
Yeah.
Shit,
Stellar, no, that's Monero, right? XMR.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never owned any.
I don't know any OKB. XLM is Stellar. Chainlink definitely. ETC, I still they have a hardcore team of developers still trying to keep the Ethereum chain going the way it originally was, and you got to applaud people that keep believing in code is law. So I like that. Atom, Algorand, they have chance. Flow, Uniswap, ICP, I don't know. Sand, I don't know. T-Fuel, I've looked at that a long time ago because I got sucked into some shit trades with that. eGold, gold-backed, Ape, XTZ, I don't know. HSN, HBAR, what do I know about HBAR? I know something. Don't know.
Not enough.
Anyway, I'd say over 50% are legit projects in here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if I was going to pick a basket, and we're going to not count BTC or ETH just for obvious reasons, but if I'm picking and I'm not waiting, I'm doing like a BNB, Solana, DOT, AVAX, Matic, Near. I'm doing just because it's retreated so much. It's like in the 4 or something.
Upside.
And
Chainlink.
Yeah, definitely Chainlink. And then I'm thinking maybe Uniswap.
What about, did you say Atom?
I was thinking about Atom too. That was my last one on the cut list. I like it because it's a chain. I like it because it's, Cosmos and has some unique angles. I would throw that in too.
See, I wouldn't put Uniswap in because I've been reading a lot of analysis about how the entire token around Uniswap is completely useless, has no value in the protocol.
Yeah.
It's just out there. It was to compete against Sushi. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd keep it in. There's a lot of FUD.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because look, there's nothing else on that board that is a, let's say, DEX-like thing. I mean, so, but yeah, I agree. It is a little tricky.
There's the weekly chart.
Yeah, I guess probably the one I like the best out of all of that is probably Polkadot of everyone on that list right now.
That's interesting.
I mean, Polygon, yes. FTM is at like 53, or I'd be on that one too. So I think that's a top 50 here.
Definitely.
But, I mean, look, it's not – I am kind of surprised to look at it and see Ripple and Cardano still there and Tron.
I know.
I just am surprised
because they have cult followings. Look, it's they have cult followings. Tron is the Asians. It's popular in Asia. So, and we probably shouldn't badmouth it so much because there may be things going on there. The reason we badmouth it is because Justin Sun's a scumbag. But if he's pulled out from his involvement in on a daily basis, like he claims, then maybe, maybe it's something to look at. When I've looked at it in the past, I have been so underwhelmed about Tron, and I just don't trust Justin Sun. And now they're banking, on this new USDD token that he's launching. That's a copy of Terra. So to me, it sounds like trouble.
Yeah. I think to me, when I look at things like that, it's like, if you got it, hold it, sell it, trim it, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not coming in fresh on that stuff at this point. I mean, I'm kind of waiting on, I think what we ought to do tomorrow is let's look at the second 50, the 50 through 100. I think that's where the interesting stuff is.
Yeah.
Because it's already 1 o'clock and I gotta roll soon, but let's see what we got.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow.
All right, cool.
I'm out.
All right,
That's all I got, Joe. Have a great day, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you, and we're glad to be back. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and click the little bell on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of the amazing insights of Joe Cawley. We appreciate you listening. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, projects we should look at, do not hesitate to DM me, B05Crypto on Telegram and Twitter, B05Crypto #2143 on Discord. I hope everyone has a fantastic day and a wonderful afternoon.